When the rain slows and the paddocks start to dry, every decision on the farm matters a bit more. Droughts test more than just the land. They test our planning, our people, and our ability to adapt. But with the right preparation and a few practical steps, we can ease the pressure and recover faster. This short video series is here to help, guiding you to get ready, manage through, and bounce back from dry conditions. Each episode shares straight up practical advice from people who've been there, ideas you can use straight away. Small actions today can make a big difference tomorrow.
Kia ora, I'm Fiona Jansma, a water quantity scientist at the Taranaki Regional Council. Today I'd love to share a few tools developed by Earth Sciences New Zealand that can help you make smarter decisions on your farm, especially when it comes to managing water and weather risks. One of these tools is the Seasonal Climate Outlook. Every month, Earth Sciences New Zealand releases a 3-month climate outlook. This forecast looks at rainfall, soil moisture, temperature, river flows for the upcoming season. The outlook is presented as probabilities. Weather conditions are likely to be above average, near average or below average, based on long-term averages for each region. For temperature, normal means within about half a degree Celsius of the average. For rainfall, near normal is between 80 and 120% of the usual amount. These forecasts use both local and global models to give an indication of what's most likely to happen. It's important to remember that these are 3-month averages. You'd still see dry spells and wet periods, but overall this is the trend for the season. If you'd like to stay informed, you can subscribe to Earth Science New Zealand's Climate Outlook newsletter. Earth Science New Zealand has developed a drought forecast dashboard. It's a really handy tool for farmers. It shows which areas are most at risk of dryness over the next 35 days. The dashboard gives you 3 scenarios: the wettest, the driest and the middle ground. These are based on the New Zealand Drought Index, or NZDI. They help you understand the extent and severity of possible dryness, but not the exact timing. You'll also find seasonal forecasts, updated every month, giving a big picture view of regions that might experience unusually dry or wet conditions. And there's more. Recent observations show how much rain has fallen in the last 15 days compared to the average, so you can see if conditions are trending wetter or drier than normal. Earth Science New Zealand also provides 2 important tools, Hotspot Watch and the New Zealand Drought Monitor. Hotspot Watch is a weekly update that shows soil moisture patterns across the country. It highlights areas where dry or extremely dry conditions are occurring or could be just around the corner. The New Zealand Drought Monitor tracks drought conditions nationwide. It uses 4 commonly accepted climate drought indicators and is updated daily, so you always have the latest information at your fingertips. But don't forget about your regional councils. They have information too. So do your district councils if you're in a unitary authority. Follow them on Facebook because they always have more information for you on there that you may not be aware of. Check their website to see if they publish monthly climate reports. This has information about whether your rainfall was above normal or below normal for the month and for the entire year. And explore the environmental data portals. Most councils will record rainfall, river flows, soil moisture, air temperature, anything you can think of that relates to the climate. It will be on there. And check, see if they've got sites within your area, your particular area, and bookmark it so then you always know what's going on in your area. They also have historical records on there, so you can always compare what the current state of play is compared to the historical information on there, so you can actually track yourself how bad it is. Now let's talk about water taking water in your area. It's really important to understand what water is available and what the rules are within your region. Every region has different rules, so it's important to go online or phone them to find out what you can and cannot do under the permitted rules. All farms have implement sheds. Have you thought about installing a rainwater tank to catch that water coming from the roof? And have you considered metering your water takes? This is a really valuable tool you can use to work out how much water you're using daily. This can even help you spot leaks that may be happening within your system once you know how much you're expected to use each day. DairyNZ has a range of useful tools and worksheets available on their website. Go check it out. One of these tools is a worksheet that helps farmers estimate their water usage through the cowshed. A small hole the size of a nail could potentially lose you 14,000 litres of water a day. Over a month, that adds up to over 422,000 litres.
The first thing to do if you're trying to plan ahead for a summer dry is to take time. The best thing you can do is to fill out a summer management plan, and ideally I recommend filling out 2. One for an early summer and one for a late summer, so that you're prepared at both ends. As you look through your summer management plan, it asks you a few key questions about what you intend to do when it gets dry. The first is to make sure you build up feed before it gets dry and to use nitrogen tactically to increase your available feed. It asks you to place down the date that you plan to apply your nitrogen and also the application rate and the rotation length that you intend to hit by 10th of January and 10th of December. Next, it asks you about how much feed you have on hand. It asks what supplements you have on hand now, what you're going to require for winter and what you're going to require for autumn, to make sure you can calculate your total feed available for summer. You then divide this by the number of cows so that you can calculate the amount of feed that you're going to need. Next up, it asks you about your summer crops. If you're intending to plant summer crops, put that information in here. Next is animal health and destocking. It asks to know when you plan to have all culls gone, when you plan to have your whole herd pregnancy tested, and when you plan to dry off. And finally, it asks about cow condition, when you plan to dry off and take in consideration of your body condition score. Once you've completed your summer management plans for both an early dry and a late dry, place them in an obvious place in your cow shed so that they're visible, and use these to trigger your decision dates as you travel through summer. There's 3 areas of consideration when we're going into summer, and that's your cash flow, your water, and your pasture. Let's start with cash flow. It's ideal to start having conversations with your bank early. Make sure that you have a budget in place to use this to inform your decisions going forward. This is going to be vital later on during the drought when you need to make decisions around buying imported feed to support your herd. Having conversations with the bank early means this relationship's already there and the bank knows what to expect. Next up, consider your pasture. The best way to ensure that you can maximise homegrown feed over summer is to protect that spring pasture. So when you're in spring, make sure that you're meeting your post-grazing and your pre-grazing residuals. We do this to make sure that we don't achieve canopy closure and start killing daughter tillers that will be vital over summer. On the other hand, we don't want to eat down past that 4 centimetre 1500 residual. Otherwise we're eating into that plant's energy reserves and making it so it won't bounce back as quickly and be as resilient over summer. Also, if you can apply nitrogen early, do so to make sure that you're optimising your pasture growth over that spring and summer period. Finally, water. There's 3 things to consider with water. The first is to make sure that we're servicing our equipment, that we're going along and checking for leaks. It's important that you're checking for leaks early on your system. Follow your pipes and double check that you don't have any water leaking from your system. A good way to do this is to install a flow or pressure checker, but another way is just using your eyes. If you go along your pipes and find a hole the size of a nail, this could be leaking up to 14,000 litres of water a day, and that's water that's vital over that summer period. So check for leaks and, if possible, install flow or pressure checkers. A lactating dairy cow can drink over 100 litres per cow per day over summer. We have to consider the fact that we also need to make sure that we're getting the water to the girls, and it's recommended we do this at a minimum rate of 20 litres per cow per hour to ensure that we can keep up with their water drinking requirements. If you have the capacity, it's also good to have exit troughs on your raceway to ensure that when the girls are leaving the dairy shed, they can have a drink before they head out to the paddock. It's a good consideration to have a sacrifice paddock nearby to make sure that the girls don't have to walk too far after they've finished milking. If possible, I recommend popping in some storage for your water so that you can capture that spring rainwater coming down and have it available over summer. And I also recommend that you check out your regional council rules to see if you can take water from your streams. This is possible in some regions, but you need to check the rules to make sure that you're allowed to do this.